everyone. Hello. If you don't know this voice by now, then why are you watching this YouTube video on YouTube or listening to the podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, or Podbean.com, or their official app? What is up, guys? It is James, aka Jimmy Pancakes 20, back here to do a new video slash podcast for you. And today is Saturday, August 30th, 2025, and the video is finally coming out that you guys have been waiting for. So let me explain before we get into the video. So as you guys know, originally I was supposed to release this video on Wednesday, and then I was going to release another video that was supposed to come out on Friday. But due to technical difficulties, that's no fault of my own, I could not film anything for like almost a day and a half, and I will explain what happened in just a moment. But now I'm finally getting the videos done, and these are going to be the last two videos before opening night of Halloween Horror Nights. So let me explain. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to finally the Not Scary Farm 2024 review video slash podcast, where myself and my co-host, yes, ladies and gentlemen, my co-host, my mom, Marsha, is here with me. She'll say hello in just a few moments. We're going to review the mazes that we went through and the scare zones, and we're doing it a little differently. Usually I'll review every single maze, but for this one, because Knott's has 10 mazes, and I know this is already going to be a long video slash podcast, we are only reviewing the mazes that we went through, and the 5 scare zones that we also went through. We did not see any shows. We didn't see any shows that year. This year it might be a little different. We might check the Hanging Show. That's one of my favorite shows. So that's how we're doing it. And before I introduce Marsha, you guys are probably wondering what happened. Well, for about a day and a half, my internet kept going in and out. Like, I was on phone with Charter with technical support. They were trying to reroute my router and my modem. It would work for a little bit, then it would stop working. So it took like a day and a half, and finally everything is working now, so I can finally get videos uploaded for you. So that is what happened. So hopefully it won't happen again, but that's why this video is coming out on today, Saturday, August 30th, and the other video that I'm going to talk about at the end will be coming out on Monday, September 1st, and then there's going to be no videos until after my co-host Marsha and I go to Halloween Horror Nights. We're going to be going there on opening night. And yes, we did buy the tickets. So on my social media sites, I will be sharing what ticket we get. I'll be sharing that maybe tomorrow, because we're just waiting for the tickets to come to my email, and then I can share which ones that we're doing and what our plans are for opening night, if we're going to be doing early entry or not. So that is everything. I just wanted to get that before we got into the Not Scary Farm 2024 review. So now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing my co-host, my mom, Marsha. So, Mom, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
So, Mom, are you ready to talk about Not Scary Farm?
Yes, definitely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy this Not Scary Farm 2024 review video. So, ladies and gentlemen, and how we're going to do it, we have a scoring system. So we're going to score every maze from a 1 being the worst to a 5 being the best. And I just want to share something with you. There are repeat mazes for Not Scary Farm that come and go. So for future review videos, we might review a maze that was there in 2024 that's also coming back for 2025. So how I'm doing my score is based on what was there in 2024, and then if I review the same maze for 2025, I'm only going to review what was there in 2025. I'm not going to do it overall because maze changes. They add new rooms. They take things out. They always try to change if they're a repeat maze. So just to let you guys know, that's how it happens. So Not Scary Farm, the dates for last year were September 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, then October 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, then 23, 24, 25, 26, 27th, then the 30th, and then Halloween night, October 31st, and then November 1st and 2nd.
That's a lot of dates.
Yep.
A lot of dates.
So as I mentioned in this intro, we did not see any shows. We did all the scare zones, and we only did 6 out of the 10 mazes. So we went to Not Scary Farm on October 10th. And if a lot of people know, I did mention it before. My birthday is on October. It's October 9th. That's my birthday. So we were trying to go on the 9th, but we couldn't. So we went the date after my birthday, thanks to my family for getting me this Not Scary Farm ticket for last year for my birthday. Mm-hmm. It was a birthday present from my family. So usually how we would do it every year when we've been going to Knott's. I've been going to Knott's since 2012. Marsha has been going to Knott's since 2014. And we haven't missed a year except for COVID. Well, we missed, they didn't do any Halloween events in 2020. And we missed Knott's in 2023 because I was working at Universal at the time. So I couldn't go in 2023. Mm-hmm. So usually we would start with Ghost Town and do the mazes on the back lot. But because there was 2 mazes that were leaving that year, everyone rushed to those. So we did a different route. We started at Camp Snoopy. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first maze that we're going to talk about, and this was a maze that debuted in 2023. So, Not Scary Farm had their 50th year anniversary in 2023. Unfortunately, I could not go, but this was the maze that debuted in 2023, and then they decided to bring it back in 2024. And this is also a maze that may or may not be there in 2025, but you have to wait for the 25 full lineup review you have to wait for the Not Scary Farm 2025 full lineup review video that's coming out Monday, September 1st. So let's talk about it. So, Mom, what did you think when you first heard about the Chamber of Horrors? Or no, sorry, it was called the Chilling Chambers.
Said, what is that? And then James and me found out going online or Facebook or wherever we saw it that it was for the 50th anniversary.
Right.
And it had all
no. It was basically a celebration of
50 years of
Not Scary Farm. And they did select mazes, and one of them, I had a chance to go to Not Scary Farm in 2011, which was the final year of this particular maze. That's part of the
Chilling Chambers.
Chilling Chambers. I didn't go in 2011. My first year was 2012, but I did see the video of this maze on YouTube, and when we get to it, I think a lot of people will know this maze was there from 2007 to 2011. So it was there for about 6 years. And I was really excited when we went through this particular chamber. And I was like, I finally got to be a part of it. Even though it's not the full maze, I still felt like I was a part of it.
I think I know which one it is, James. I'm not going to say.
All right, so now let's get into details. So as I did mention, this debuted in 2023. I didn't go that year, but we got to experience it in 2024. So for this maze, there was a host that was telling people. There was a host that they created called. That was called The Keeper, and it was based off the first official host of Not Scary Farm, which was Cinnamore Seymour. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, as you enter the maze, you're going through like a church. That's what it felt like to me. What about you, Mom?
Yeah, it did feel like a church.
Okay?
Yeah.
The first room that you entered, they call it the Broken Rotunda, where you see two bloody female statues as you walk in. Do you remember that?
That kind of scared me a little bit, but at the end I'll review.
Then in the center is a projection of the Keeper welcoming you to his chambers and tells you about the first one that you're going to go through. All the steel glass in there was nods to first monsters that for the first monsters that ever roam ghost town streets. So as I said, they put a lot of history into this maze. Yeah. So before I continue, what did you think about that, Mom?
I thought that was great because, half of these mazes I didn't know about because, like I said, I started going in 2014. And I thought that was, like, wonderful in the Rotunda.
Right.
And that was, like, amazing. What about you, James?
I loved it, too. And then, also in the room, there were two live actors, one on the right, one on the left. They were dressed up as evil monks, a.k.a. the Guardians of the Chambers. Yeah, that got me.
That got me too, James.
So then you go straight, and then to the right is the first hallway that you walk into. And when you turn right, there's a giant pumpkin head, and this is an homage to the maze that was there before, which was Pumpkin Eater. Yep. Yeah. And then you turn right, and then to the left, there's a wall that has pumpkins carved and different props from past mazes. They also made some jack-o'-lanterns with candles. And that was basically the distraction, because on your right side, the Guardian would pop out and scare you. So you're looking at all this stuff on the left-hand side that's tribute to different mazes. On the right, if you're not looking, bam, a Guardian will get you again.
That's what happened to me. I was looking with all the stuff, which was really neat. Mm-hmm. I turned around. Oh, hello. I didn't see you pop out.
Oh. Yeah. So then you enter your first keyhole that leads you to your first chamber. So there's like these like um, that look like keys that are portals that will take you to each of the chambers.
Yeah.
They were painted black with skeletons on them. Um, they kind of looked like what the skeleton key rooms were back in the day.
Yes.
No, the skeleton keys, not the rooms. The skeleton keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you went to your first chamber. The first chamber was a past maze that was called something asylum, and it was like an asylum where these inmates are taking over, and there's evil nurses and evil doctors. This was a popular maze back in the 2000s. Basically, the story is this maze is an asylum that's overrun by patients, as I mentioned, evil doctors, stuff like that. So the first thing that you enter is you enter a courtyard. That is the first official maze where you see the sign for the asylum, and there would be multiple patients outside that would scare you, that would lead you into the asylum.
That courtyard, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, that courtyard, yeah. Then as you enter the asylum, you enter the nurses' station. These were very important characters from the original asylum maze. Basically, they were evil nurses that was causing chaos, and there was a couple of nurses in there messing with some dummies on the wall, and there was one on the stretcher. Also, there was a couple of patients also in the nurses' stations as well. So basically, chaos. The next room you enter is an operation room where you see two dummies, one on a chair and the other one that's on looks like a dentist chair. And there was an evil doctor in there that was messing with the patient. If the doctor wasn't in there, then it would be
one of the nurses.
No, one of the other patients.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Then you walk down a short hallway, and then to the right, there's a dummy that's of a patient. So there was lots of dummies in there. Like there were some actors in there, but not a lot in this first chamber. Then it's the infirmary room, aka the hospital, where you see dirty. No, sorry. Where there's like dirty diapers, there's throw up everywhere. Basically, like where the patients were living, basically. There was a dummy that was pretending to throw up in the toilet, and some that were hanging up the thing. So it was just like a chaotic room. It was like, what the fuck? Then you go down another small hallway, and there's a paddock room where, from the asylum, where you would hear loud noises that make you feel like someone was in there with you. And that was the end of the first chamber. So, your thoughts, Mom?
I like this room, but when we went into the dirty diaper room and stuff, it kind of made me sick. I didn't get sick, but the smells were terrible. But it was amazing. What about you, James?
Yeah, I got a little sick in that room, and that was the first maze that we hit, Mom. And we were not expecting fucking dirty diapers.
We were not, James. Not at all.
So then that's the end of the first chamber. So basically this maze is you're going into these chambers and then you're going back to the mausoleum. So basically that's like how it is. So then you go back into the mausoleum. On your left is another wall where you see different masks from past mazes. I recognize some of them. There was the Trickster's mask from Trick or Treat, a vampire mask from Dominion of the Dead, a pumpkin mask from Pumpkin Eater, and the rest I didn't really recognize. And then you go into another small hallway where there's another projection, a video projection of the Keeper that's telling you about the next chamber you're going into. Then you enter the second chamber, which I think was this, like the one that I mentioned was my favorite one that we're going to get to, but I think this was my second favorite one.
You like the Asylum one?
No, I didn't like the Asylum one. I liked this one and the one that I mentioned that we'll get to.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So this second one was a past maze. It was called the Underground. This was a very popular post-apocalypse maze. This was one of the longest running mazes in Not Scary Farm history. So in the original Underground, there was a character named the Spy Master, where he was half man, half robot, and they recreated it, and that's the first character that you see that's the first character that interacts with you as you enter the chamber. And I should mention he's also Mike too, so he is a live Mike.
Not a live person, a robot. Or was it a live person?
It was a live person. It was half human, half robot, remember?
Yes, in the costume, yes. I remember that one now.
Yeah. Basically, you walk through like the downtown area, and there was 2 or 3 more scare actors in there. It was one of my favorite things was in the section you went through an overturned Metro bus.
Remember that, yeah.
Then the first official room you enter was a bar/nightclub. You see a bartender with some customers as they scare you as you enter. Then you go down a hallway, and you go on either side. There are go-go dancers.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Then there was like 2 or 3 more customers in that dancing section as you're going down the hallway. And then the last room of the Underground was a mirror room where you think someone's following you, but no one was. And that was the end of the second chamber. So, your thoughts on that?
I mean, I liked it, but I didn't really understand the room. It kind of got me confused. But it was still good. What about you?
I was...
You were confused too?
I was confused. Like, that mirror room, that's what got me, but everything else was good.
Right.
So then you go back in the mausoleum. There's another projection of the Keeper that tells you that you go into the Keeper's tomb, where there was like these coffins that were paying tribute to different mazes and scare zones from the past. I didn't recognize any of those in the room. Then you went to the third one. And this one, I think, because Not Scary Farm has done lots of clown mazes throughout the years. So they didn't specifically choose a particular clown or circus maze. It was just themed to clowns itself and circus mazes. Like some of the mazes that I saw that had clowns was Uncle Bobo's in 2012 when I went. Definitely the one that stands out to me is Dark Ride. That's the one that sticks out to me the most with the clowns.
With the clowns, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the Dark Ride.
The first room that you enter, as you enter the first room, you have to enter through a clown's mouth. Next room is you enter is full of stuffed animal toys.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scare actor that's dressed up as an Easter bunny that pops out and scares you.
Right.
The next room is the center room where there's a bunch of clowns that are doing random stuff as you enter, and immediately you go into a room on your right. So you basically exit the thing, you're in the center, and then you go to the right. Now this is the room I think that got me the worst with the smell. The next room is called the Elephant Poop Room.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys could see Marsha's face right now as we're doing this video / podcast, she's like, "What the fuck did we go through?" It smelled like shit, and there was a guy dressed up as a elephant cleaner that was pretending to scoop up the poop. Oh god. Then you go back into the center room that leads you to the exit of this chamber. Then you're back in the mausoleum, and the hallway. This is a tribute to the vampire / gothic mazes and scare zones, where there's 2 vampire brides, a vampire priest, and there's still glass of a tribute to one of the actors and actresses that played vampires in the past year on the left, and then you go to the left and enter the final chamber. This is the one that I was alluding to, Mom, and I think you know which one I'm talking about.
Can I say it?
Yes.
Dollhouse.
Yep, Doll Factory, yes.
I'm sorry, Doll Factory.
Not Dollhouse, Doll Factory. If you're going to say it right.
Sorry!
Okay. The fourth and final chamber was themed to amaze Doll Factory, and in fact, I almost went to Not Scary Farm in 2011, when it was the final year of Doll Factory, but I missed it by 1 year. My first year going to Knott's was in 2012, and I never got to experience Doll Factory. So going through this chamber, I felt like I was going through some of the famous scenes from Doll Factory. Mm-hmm. The first room is the famous hallway where there was wire thing and dummy mask everywhere on the wall, and there was one of the doll makers in the hallway. The next room was his factory, where you saw another doll maker, and there was boxes everywhere with some victims that were being turned into dolls. This room was his office, where he started planning to go turn his victims into dolls. The next room was the storage room, where you saw different parts that he was using to make a doll, and another doll maker was in there, or sometimes it would be a victim. Then you saw the famous spider head mechanic that was in there, and it was a reference to Toy Story, if anyone knows that reference. Now, I think this was my favorite room, the famous dollhouse where you went through, and the floor was vibrating.
I remember that, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, yes, that was cool. And then that was the end of that chamber. It led you back to the mausoleum, where you see the creeper again, and immediately go to the right into the crypts, where it was broken into, where you saw different theme mazes. And then basically the final room was a graveyard, where there was graveyards of different mazes from the past, and I recognized some of them: Pumpkin Eater, the Red Barn, Trap, that I got to do all 3 years, Domain of the Dam, and some other ones. And there's you see the guardians again in that room. They're scaring you, and you enter through one last chamber. And basically, what the story is now you're part of the Knott's history forever. And that was the end of the maze. So, your thoughts, Mom?
I really like this maze. I mean, I didn't recognize some of the mazes in there, but some I did. But it was really, really good. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm glad I saw it before it went away.
No, this maze didn't go away.
It's going to be there this year?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. So I really like this, and I can't wait to see it this year again. What about you, James?
I really did like it too. So, Mom, now your score from 1 being the worst to a 5 being the best.
I'm sorry to say this, but I give it a 4. I really enjoyed it, but that room with the diapers and stuff, it made me really, really sick. So that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What about you?
I have to give it a 5 out of 5 because going through Doll Factory, and I actually got to experience it, and even though it's not the full maze, I really did enjoy that whole maze. So I have to give it a 5 out of 5. Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy the maze, but that one room made me really sick.
Right.
And like I had a headache and stuff, so that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Okay. And this maze was located at the entrance of Camp Snoopy. So it was like right at the entrance of Camp Snoopy.
Right.
So the next maze that we're going to talk about, the next one that we hit for that day, or that night, I should say, not day but night, was located in the Boardwalk Theater Cinema Slasher. And again, this maze did debut in 2023 for Not Scary Farm's 50th anniversary. Again, we didn't get to experience it when it first opened, but they brought it back for 2024, and we got to experience it again. So, the story for this one is very simple. This maze is basically you're going into a movie theater that burned down 50 years ago, and you're going through 3 different movies that were themed to past mazes. So, your thoughts on that, Mom?
Really good. Past mazes, I got to experiencing them.
Mm-hmm. Also, the theme for the movie, the movie theater was hosting a trio terror festival based off fake movies that were named Slasher of the Dark and whatever the title they put. So the slasher was the main character of this maze.
I remember that, yeah.
So you start in the lobby of the movie theater where you see different movie posters. Different movie posters of past mazes that they did. Like, I saw one for Doll Factory. And this might be hints for future mazes that might be coming, or future scare zones. So we're going to have to look at those movie posters when we go through this year, Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was walking fast, but I saw some of the posters, but not all of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, basically what they did was you were going into the theater, you saw it all bright and stuff, and then it turned to black light where the theater is burned down, it's crumbling. So you kind of see like the state of the theater when it burned down. The next room, because if you guys don't know, I used to work in a movie theater. I used to work at AMC for 2 years. After I left Universal, I worked at a movie theater for 2 years. So I felt right at home when I was going through this maze. The next room you enter was the concession, where you see the theater manager that looks normal, but for the black light, he looks like a skull. And there's also 2 or 3 ushers in there as well. So the first auditorium you enter is showing a movie called Slasher of the Dark Trick or Treat. Fun fact: Trick or Treat was the maze that debuted in 2012. My first year going to Not Scary Farm for their 40th anniversary. And the last year it was there was in 2017. So in this room you saw more ushers and some people dressed as tricksters pretending to watch the movie. So what they did for this one is, instead of it being in the Green Witch's house, they turned it into a sorority house for party, and it was a female sorority house. So the first room you enter is like the sorority house. Where the right, there's a staircase, and the slasher is pretending to come down the stairs to get you. And there were some live girls that were like survivors of the party. So that was cool. They had different props and stuff, like a beer stand and fruit punch. And then, as I said, there was actors in there. And then next 2 rooms. The next room that you entered was kind of looked like the living room, but there was a fireplace and stuff like that. And the slasher would come out and sometimes scare you. And then there was a left of a dummy that was being killed. The next room was like a small dining room / patio, where sometimes there would be a live actress in there on a chair. Sometimes there wouldn't be. And there was a dummy of the slasher behind the glass that looked like the backyard. Then you go to the left, there's a shower curtain. And the slasher would pop out and scare you there. And then you enter a bedroom where there's a dummy of a girl that's hung up, and the slasher is like pretending to stab her.
Remember that one, yeah.
And then that was the end of the first movie. So your thoughts on that, Mom?
I really like this one. Gory, but it was really good. The slasher scared me like twice. Those 2 slashers scared me twice because I think you were in the lead. I don't remember.
No, you were in the lead, and
I was in the lead, and you were filming, and they got me every time. And they didn't scare you.
Yeah.
But I really liked this movie.
This first movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, that was the end of the first movie. You hit back in the movie theater where you're like in the backstage area. You enter the first movie. There's a backstage area, and you see a poster for the next movie that you're gonna see called Slasher of the Dark Camp Gonna Getcha.
That was a weird name. Weird name.
And before you're in the back area of the theater, And there was a person dressed up as a camera lens. That freaked me the fuck out. So
I was walking by him and he stood up. I turned around. I screamed like a baby. I mean, he scared me too, James.
Mhm.
So, but that was amazing.
Then you enter the second movie, which is Camp Gonna Get Ya. And basically, there's like a boat docked, and the slasher is dressed in this one like an old, like an old fisherman with like a raincoat on. That's the best way I can describe it. And when you saw the slasher in the first one, he kind of looked a little bit like Michael Myers.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I can describe it.
He did, James.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was campers in this where they're like, you gotta get out of here and stuff like that. You go through a boat and you see a captain. Then you go through two short hallways where you see dummy, one on the chair, one on the wall. The slasher got them. Then you go through a cabin where you enter in our hallway where you see a bear that's attacking the screens and the dummy with arrows on the targeting board and 3 arrows through her body because the slasher got her. Then again, you're back in one of the cabins where you see a dummy that's stabbed to death, and someone comes out and scares you. And sometimes it was a slasher, or sometimes it was one of the victims, and that was the end of the second movie. So, your thoughts on the second movie?
I really like this one because they were scaring me left and right. Like scared. Like they were popping out everywhere. And I really like this one. What about you, James?
I really did like this one too.
Yeah.
Was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you go back in the theater. You're back in the backstage area again. You see the cameraman again, and there's also a dummy of a security guard that looks killed. Then you enter the final movie, which is called Slasher of the Dark Slaughterhouse. And Slaughterhouse was there at Not Scary Farm for a very long time. It was originally called Slaughterhouse, then it became Uncle Willie's Slaughterhouse. So it was a very popular maze back in the day. And I saw it for many years when I started going from 2012 until it finally left. I want to say 2016 or 2017 it was. I saw it for like 5 years when it was there.
So I just definitely missed this one.
No, you definitely saw that one.
Yeah, okay. So I started going in 2014, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And you see like the slasher guising and there's more ushers and more patrons before you enter the movie. You enter the first room, which is a factory, where you see the slasher grinding a victim's face off, and the victim's asking for help. The next room is called the back room, where you see the victims that look like they were in sewers asking for help. Then the slasher comes out and scares you. Then you see these big giant tanks that are projecting people that are getting killed, like in acid or something like that.
Acid, yeah.
With some skeletons hanging up on the wall and stuff like that. The last room, it's called the killing room, where you see all these dead bodies, and they had fog, and there was like a laser effect on the floor, and sometimes there was characters up or below your feet, but the granddaddy of them all is the slasher had this giant chainsaw that was mounted to the roof, and you could swing it in certain directions and get you. That's what I saw. And then some actors popped up from the fog, from the ground, and I didn't even realize them. And that scared the fuck out of me.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Then the final room, you exit back into the auditorium, where there's statues of slashers, and you think the slasher is going to get you. No, it's the ushers and stuff, and there's a giant camera that's turned into a monster, and that's the true state of the theater. That is this giant monster that has been taken over, and that is the end of the maze. So, your thoughts on this maze?
I really like this maze. Very well done. A lot of good scares. I really like this one. Pop scare actors left and right. I got a lot of scares in this one. So, thumbs up for Knots for that one. Yeah. What about you, James?
I really did enjoy this one, too. They did it great.
Yes.
So.
My score?
Your score.
Definitely a 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. For me, I definitely have to say 5 out of 5. For me. Alright, so the next one that we went to is Mesmer, Sideshow of the Mind. This was behind Accelerator. So the facade for this one was a circus tent, and you meet some characters outside, like the bearded lady that's not hypnotized. So basically the whole premise for this one, and I'm going to change the photo for you guys. So we're talking about Mesmer,
Sideshow of the Mind.
It debuted at Not Scary Farm in 2022, so we got to see the first version of it, and then we didn't see it in 2023, and then we saw it in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically this guy named sorry, what's the guy's name, Mom? I just said it.
Morton or?
I just said it. I can.
Martin?
No, it's Mesmer.
Mesmer.
I couldn't think of the guy's name.
Sorry.
Mesmer is basically controlling people and making them do stuff that you don't want to do.
Right.
And they're like half alive, half dead.
Yep.
The first room you enter is like a tent that's destroyed, and you see Mesmer pulling a lever, and he's cutting a person in half. It smelled like the circus burned down.
Yeah. Definitely remember that.
Then you enter a hallway where you see screens of eyeballs and stuff watching you, and it feels like you're being hypnotized by Mesmer. The first character that you meet is the tattoo artist, and basically his backstory is he loved to tattoo people, and he had tattoos over his body, and he didn't have any room. So Mesmer hypnotized him to do the other side of his skin, and so on his walls you see his skin as well as some of his victims.
Yep.
The next character you meet is the sword swallower, where either was a guy or a girl. It was hard to tell, but basically their story was that they like to swallow things, and they got hypnotized by Mesmer to swallow a sack of spiders, and then turned into a giant spider themselves. And you also, in this room, you saw some of the victims that were turned into spider people. Mm-hmm. The next character you meet is Mr. Skeleton. He was the first victim of Mesmer. He was the original owner of the of the circus / carnival, and he got turned into a skeleton. and there's a grandfather clock that he has to keep turning, or else he has to keep winding the clock every 24 hours. The next character you meet is Viola, and she's a violinist of the carnival. Um, so she loved playing music, and she couldn't feel the vibration. So Mesmer hypnotized her to cut her arms and play her ligaments
For the violin.
so she can feel the music. Then you go down a hallway, and there's some circus performers that pop out and scare you. Uh, the next character you meet is the snake charmer, where she was hypnotized by Mesmer for the snakes to bite her, and she turned into an actual snake, and she started killing people and turned some of them into her minions, of which you saw some of her minions and the snake goddess, or the snake charmer herself.
Right.
You walk down another hallway, and there's more scare actors that are scaring you. The next character you meet is called the Human Noodle, where she's a gymnast, and I don't remember what her backstory is.
I forgot too, James.
Yeah.
So.
So then also there are some dummies of girls floating. They're floating with balloons, and they're floating up in the air. Then you went to the room where metronomes that were used for hypnosis, and sometimes the scare actor would be in there. Then the next room that you walk into is a bridge where the walls are moving side to side, and it makes you feel unbalanced. Mm-hmm. That room I did not like. It was so hard for me to film that.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. It was hard, like you were trying to get the angle. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
The next hallway is a rope, and it makes you feel like you're walking a tightrope, and looks like you're high up. The next room you enter is the polka dot room, where there are dummies of the characters, and there's like one or two live actors in there that are dressed like that. The next one you enter is the next character you meet is Viola, the vendor. Basically, her backstory is she didn't like the beauty of her face, and she thought she looked ugly. So she was hypnotized by Mesmer to smash a window and glass and stuff covering half of her face, and the other half is her beautiful. And in this room, there was broken mirrors, and there was mirrors that rotated, so it was kind of like a little mirror maze.
Oh yeah.
The next room you meet is the flesh eater. Basically, he was a guy that would eat anything, so he was hypnotized by Mesmer to keep eating and eating until he turned into a giant monster. But also there is a secret. To your right, there's a red door that you can actually go through. And if you go for the red door, you see a bunch of door knobs, and sometimes there would be a scare actor in there waiting for you. But most people miss the red door and go right past it.
Yep.
The next room you enter is Mr. Zoetrope, who is Mesmer himself, like in this form, like his zombie form. He basically is a skeleton with a top hat and with a skull cane, so he's like the one that's controlling everything. Then you go down another hallway with eyeballs looking at you. Then in the final room of the maze, basically that Mesmer realizes that his carnival is too powerful, and he lost control, so he's trying to get out of it by saying red room, red room, red room, and there are some scare actors in there, and one is on a bungee that pops out and scares you, and that is the end of the maze, so that was Mesmer. So, your thoughts on that, Mom?
I really like this maze, but it's time for it to go. Put a new one in there. I liked all the scares. They were scaring me left and right. Sometimes I got confused what hallway to go through next. But it was a really good maze, and I really enjoyed this one.
Mm-hmm.
But let it go bye-bye this year.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts, James?
Yeah, I really did enjoy this maze, but it's kind of like, 2022. The the opening scene was different, but it kind of looks like they don't really care for this maze anymore. So it looks like, it might be
Going away?
Going away. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. Um,
Never know.
so, what was your score for this one?
I liked it, but it's been there too long. I hate to give it a low score. I've seen it so many times. Like a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I have to agree with you, Mom. I liked it, but I think it's time for another maze. So 3 out of 5.
No.
Okay. So the next one we're going to talk about was again another maze that debuted in 2023, which we never got to go through until 2024. Room 13. So basically, what the story for this one is, there's a scare zone close to this maze called the Goring 20s, and there is this drink called the Devil's Elixir. And basically, room 13 is basically tells you the story of where this was made and who is behind it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this one was located. Um, this was located inside the arcade by Berry Tales, like that ride. I don't go to Knott's that often. I only go for Knott's Scary Farm. So if you people know where I'm talking about, yeah.
Right.
Basically, the story is that this maze is there's a hotel / bar that's serving a drink called the Devil's Elixir, and things start happening to the people when they drink it, and you see that throughout the maze, and then at the very end of this maze, you find out who is responsible for making it and where it's being made. The entrance looks like a secret speakeasy, and there's a doorman outside.
Yep.
The first room you enter is the bar, where you see one bartender and 2 or 3 customers. Sorry. Sometimes there would be one bartender or sometimes 2 bartenders that you sometimes would see. And then a couple of patrons that are pretending to drink the Devil's Elixir. The next room, you see the back room where there was like a pool table and some blackjack and stuff like that, but all the furniture is broken, and you see a couple of bar patrons that pop out and scare you, and it looks like a fight broke out.
Okay. I'm trying to remember that room, James.
Then you enter a small hallway, and it looks like a checked-in desk, or maybe where you drop your laundry. I wasn't sure what that was supposed to be.
It looked like where you checked in, to me.
Then the next room you enter is the lobby of the hotel, where there's blood on the wall, there's broken furniture, and a couple of hotel guests and bar hops that are scaring you. Then you enter another hallway where it's called the elevator hallway, where you see where a bellhop pops out and scares you. Then you enter a hotel room where you see a dummy that's on the wall, and she's upside down, and she's pretending to spray you. She kind of looks like Reagan from The Exorcist. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yep.
Then you enter the bathroom where you see a dummy of a girl pretending to puke in the toilet. Then you walk down another small hallway, and it leads you to the next room, where it's the kitchen of the hotel. On the right, you see some ingredient ingredients on a shelf, and then on your left you see the stove where you see a dummy of a girl where her head's on the top of the stove and she's been murdered. Then on the left you see some knives that were thrown against the wall and more ingredients. Then on your right you see the chef where he would sometimes offer you food, but you don't want to take that food. Then you enter a small hallway where it's like it looks like a storage unit where you see a lot of hanging bodies, and sometimes there would be a scare actor in there or not. Then you enter another guest bedroom where there's a scare actor pretending to throw up in the sink. Then it leads you to you enter the guest bedroom, and then it leads you into the hotel room where you see a girl all cut up in the paces, and you hear a radio broadcast saying, "Do not drink the devil's elixir," and chaos has erupted. A little too late for that.
Oh, yeah.
Then you enter another hallway where sometimes there will be a scare actor in there. Then you enter another room that I call the construction room, where you're on construction scaffolding, and it looks like the hotel is being fixed and you're walking high up in the air. Sometimes there will be a scare actor in that area, sometimes not. Then you enter another hallway that leads you to another elevator room. This time it looks like you're more high up, so you're like one more floor high up. But I'm not sure. Then you go through one of the elevators where you see a person's body that was crushed by the elevator. Then you go into a small hallway that leads to another hotel room where this one is a detective who figured out if you drink the devil's elixir that you turn crazy and bad things happen. So you see a lot of newspapers all around his hotel room. There's all his notes. There's a camera flashing like he's taking photos. That's all over the room. Then you go to try close to the evidence. He comes out from different areas, and you know where he pops out, and he's like, "Don't touch my work," and scares you out of that room. Then you go down another hallway where you see more dead bodies and half humans, and you have to walk through them. Then you go down another small hallway that leads you to another lobby where a guy is playing a piano. The next room is another hallway where there's a scare actor in there that would scare you. Then you finally get to where the devil's elixir is made. So we went for the hotel and all that. Now you get to where the devil's elixir is actually made. It's in the basement of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The gangsters that you see from the Goring 20 Scare Zone and the Devil's Elixir is in an underground. Is in a secret brewery underneath the hotel. First room you enter is the equipment room that powers up the machines that makes the Devil's Elixir. There are some gangsters that are in there that are scaring you. In the next room you see a giant statue of a devil where the elixir is actually coming out. That's where they make the elixir. That scares you out of the room. Then the fire room, you walk down the hallway and there's a giant. You see that devil's elixir's head, but this time it's being pushed and scaring you. And that's the end. And then you exit out of the arcade. So Your thoughts on this maze?
Oh boy, really, really good. This is maze. I really, really liked it. Very, very good. Scared the crap out of me. Well done. That's all I can say on this one.
Mm-hmm.
You, James?
I really did enjoy this. I was like, we finally get the backstory of where this letter was actually made.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, your score for this one?
Definitely a 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm. For me, same, 5 out of 5. Okay. So, moving on. So, just to let you guys know, we did not do Origins that year, and we did not do the Grimoire. So then we ended the night with the 2 new mazes that debuted in 2024. So the first one that we hit was 8 Fingers 9, the Boogeyman. So, basically the story takes place in colonial times, and this was located in the back lot that was underneath Ghost Rider. And this maze is where Tooth Fairy was, also where Dark Entities was.
And then Bloodline.
No.
Oh.
No, it was not where Bloodline was.
Okay.
No. So as I said, the story takes place in the colonial times, and basically Eight Fingers 9 is a boy that was abandoned in the woods, and a spirit guardian turned the boy into a natural creature or spirit, as people call him. That's known as Eight Fingers 9, and basically terrorizes the town, and he bites off people's fingers. But when he bites you, you have sleep paralysis, and basically he eats you when you're still alive, and that's pretty much it. Like, yeah. Also, throughout the maze, you hear the story in different poems throughout different rooms of the maze. Also, this maze is supposed to be like a fairy tale or storybook that was created by Not Scary Farm. So, before we get into the actual maze, Mom, your thoughts?
I like fairy tales and stuff. But once you go through the maze, it kind of gets darker.
Yeah. Alright, so the facade had a giant puppet of Eight Fingers 9, the Boogeyman. The facade kind of looked like a giant storybook cover. That's the best way I could describe it.
Right.
The first room you basically enter is the forest, where you see the fairy spirit turn the boy into Eight Fingers 9. And there was a dummy of the spirit on your right, and a dummy of the boy that was also on your right, and then on your left was a live actress that was playing the fairy spirit.
Yep.
The next area you enter you enter the town, where you see villagers telling you to stay out of the woods, and some of them have missing fingers. They tell you to go to the orphanage, so that's where we go next, where you think it's safe, but a villager's in there that scares you. On the left, you see a video projection of a villager outside near the woods. Then you enter a bedroom of the orphanage, where you see a dummy of a girl in bed, but Eight Fingers 9 is attacking her, and then he scares you out of that room. As you exit the orphanage, you enter a small alleyway, and then you're about to enter. Then You enter the next area on your left. A villager pops out and scares you. The next area is the town square, like the center of town, where the villagers come, where some villagers come out and scare you. The next area you enter is a shop which was called Miller Shop, which is a reference to one of the maze designers. His name is Daniel Miller. You see the shopkeeper being torn apart by Eight Fingers 9, and sometimes there would be another scare actor in there scaring you. Then you walk down a small hallway into another bedroom, into the orphanage where you see different paintings and stuff of children made of the boogeyman. There are no live actors in this room. You'll only see dummies of children pretend to be terrified of what's happening because the boogeyman is coming for them. Then you enter a room / hallway that's known as the Root, where the boogeyman can travel. This is how he travels, and he can see you through walls, through trees, and then there's a boogeyman that comes out and scares you, and also some of the villagers pop out and scare you in that location. The next room you enter is the stables, where you see a dummy of a person in a food barrel, and you see a white and then a black sheep. And sometimes the boogeyman would be in that room, sometimes not. The next room you enter the forest again, where you see some people that are like in a cult. I couldn't really tell where they were summoning the boogeyman. I didn't really understand that room. There was 5 or 6 scare actors in that were popping out right and left. I was confused by this room. What about you, Mom?
I was it a satanic cult or summoning the boogeyman? I couldn't really get that picture, James.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Then you enter the workshop again. This time you see the fairy guardian that's in there telling you the boogeyman's going to get you. Then you enter the forest again, where you see more people trapped in trees, and the boogeyman has captured them. Then you enter that room. You enter, and the boogeyman comes out from the right and scares you. Then you're back in the roots, and this time it's a lot more darker. You see red light with some blood, and body parts are all over the place. Then the final 2 rooms, you're in the forest again, and this time you see more cult members. One of them is on your left, one is on your right, and then you see a giant statue of the boogeyman, and you thought that you would survive. No. The way to get out, you have to go through a giant mouth of the boogeyman, and it feels like you got swallowed by the boogeyman, and that is the end of the maze. So, your thoughts, Mom?
Oh my gosh, I really like this one. Scare actors were scaring me from left to right, and I like the ending when you go through his mouth. That was amazing. The whole maze was really good, very well done, and I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, James?
I really did enjoy it too. Okay? Alright, guys, so what is your score for this one?
Definitely a 5 out of 5.
Okay, for sure, yeah. For me too, definitely a 5 out of 5.
Right.
Alright, guys, so right now we're going to take a little break because I need to use the restroom. So basically this video is going to be one giant one, but it's going to be 2 separate parts that are going to be edited together. So this is the part 1, and then we're going to continue with the last maze and the
scare zone.
So again, really quick, Mom, before we end this part, what was your score for Boogeyman again?
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. For me, I do it at 5 out of 5 too. It was really, really good. So we'll be right back to continue with part 2. That's going to be 2 videos edited together. We'll be right back. Why, hello guys. It is James and Marsha back here to continue with our Not Scary Farm 2024 review video / podcast. If you guys saw, the video is cut, and this is part 2 that's edited together with part 1. The last maze that we talked about was 8 fingers 9, and then we took a little short break because I needed to use the restroom. Marsha needed to use the restroom. And at the time when we were filming the video, I had some laundry that was done, and I needed to go grab it out of the dryer because someone else was waiting to use it. So that's why we had to take like a little break. So we're going to continue from where we left off. So at the end of part 1, we just finished talking about 8 fingers 9. So now we're going to talk about our final maze of the night that we did, which was the second new maze that was debuting in 2024. And I'm going to tell you, it was Marsha's brilliant idea to end this as the last maze, even though she knows I fucking hate this. So, Mom, go ahead and tell the story really quick. I would love the people to know what I'm talking about.
He's talking about widows. He does not like spiders, and that's the last maze we went into. And he was so mad at me when we got out of there. So
yeah, I was like, okay, widows, like, you know, like old people and stuff. I wasn't expecting fucking spiders. I was so pissed.
Oh, he didn't talk to me on the way home from Uber.
No, I did not.
He was so mad at me.
I was so mad.
Because I knew what it was. He thought it was like old folks home, widows, like retirement home. No, he didn't know there were spiders in there.
Yeah, until the very last second. Oh, man. Okay. So, just to let you guys know, we did not do Bloodline 1842, and unfortunately, last year, that was the final year for the maze, so everyone rushed to that. So by the time we got our widows, we thought maybe we could do Bloodline and then end with Waxworks, but both of those mazes
we're like a 2-hour wait.
No, we're like almost an hour wait. And this was around like 12:30 or close to 12:30. So we just decided to end our night. So we didn't do we did not do
Waxworth, and we did not do Bloodline.
We didn't do Bloodline, and we did not do Waxworth, which was the other maze that was its final year last year in 2024. So let's talk about Widows. So Widows, the concept was this voodoo queen that was a voodoo queen in the old voodoo maze where this maze is located. This is where voodoo used to be, and also this is where the depths used to be. So this voodoo queen is a lot older now. She was put in this this nursing home, and she basically
cursed.
No, she basically did a chant to the spider goddess, and she basically cursed the old folks home where spiders were coming up from the underworld, and they were taking over these old folks, and also some of the staff members, like the doctor and the nurses. Oh, so there's two parts to this maze. First section that we're going to talk about is the nursing home, and then eventually you go into the
spider's lair.
The spider's lair, where you meet the Spider Queen herself. Thank you very much, Mom.
You're welcome very much.
Oh God. Okay, so the facade is an old folks home, and basically, as I said, that's basically what the story is. And of course, I have on my notes one fact: I do not like spiders, so I hated this maze. Oh, okay. Let me just get through this so we don't have to talk about it anymore. As you enter the maze, you're greeted by one of the elderly outside. Sometimes she would be sitting in a rocking chair. Sometimes she would not be outside, and she would be in the first room. Or sometimes if they had more staff, there would be one outside and then one inside the first room, depending. As I said, some nights they would have one outside and then the other person inside the rocking chair in the first room. So then you enter the first hallway, where you have hanging bodies that are wrapped in spider webs, and you had to move them out of your way. Oh. Then there was a giant spider also. Sometimes there would pop out from the cabinet on your left-hand side. I hated that fucking spider. The next room is the common room, where you see the elderly coming together. And there was also an evil nurse that was trying to stick you with a needle.
Probably to turn you into a spider.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the elderly would say, "Come join us. It's fun." Yeah. The next room you entered was the kitchen, where you see dead bodies on the table, and there was a crazy doctor that was eating them. If the doctor wasn't in there, then it would be the nurse from the previous room inside with the needle. Fun fact, when we went through this maze, the nurse was in the kitchen, and she tried to poke Marsha with a needle, so I filmed it the entire time. So that was my payback to you.
Thank you very much.
You want to talk about that?
He was leading me to the person with the needle. Like, no thanks. Bing! I just booked it.
Uh-huh.
Because James just wanted me to get payback, because I knew he didn't like spiders, and this was the last maze we went into.
Yeah, so that was my little payback to you.
I know. Thank you very much.
The next room, you enter a bedroom where you see a dummy of an elderly on the bed, and there's a live actress that's playing an elderly, between the vomit spiders into the dummy's mouth. And sometimes there would be two other actors that would pop out from the right and left as you were focusing on the dummy and the first live actor that's pretending to vomit into the dummy's mouth. The next room was kind of like the bed, kind of like the bathroom, where there was tubs full of bodies that were melted, and some straight, and some that were turning into human spiders. Then after you left the bathroom, you get transferred back into the kitchen, but there are no dead bodies. There are no dead bodies, but there was real food that they were trying to get you to eat in the kitchen. Because there was an actor that was in there that was dressed as a chef, but was But was that a chef or not, or was that one of a nurse's pretending to play a chef, or one of the patients playing the chef?
And they wanted to eat and they probably wanted you to eat a spider.
Yeah. I said no thanks.
I said thank you very much. Next room.
As you leave the kitchen, you walk down a long hallway where on the right and left were elderly popping out at you. So just a long hallway to get to the next room. The next room, you were back in the bedroom that you previously saw, but this time you heard a chant going on. So this is the live actress that was in there. She was pretending to be the voodoo queen, and you were seeing her in the bedroom, and she was doing the chant to get the spider goddess. So that was kind of like the last room of the nursing home.
Right.
And then you transition into
the spider lair.
The spider lair. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Then you walk down the hallway that leads you into the spider lair, but it's full of dummies wrapped up, and there was dripping water that made you feel like the spiders were spraying on you. I hated that hallway with a passion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm not saying a word, James. I know you're looking at me.
Then the next room you enter is the Guardians room, where the spider guardians are there attacking you and stuff like that. Then you go down a short hallway. There's some green light, red light, with polka dots, like you're really now in the spider lair. So then that means you're one step closer to getting to the Spider Queen, and there's like hanging bodies and stuff like that. Again. And then another guardian comes out and scares you. Then you enter a room that I call the Spider Queen Trophies room, where there's a trophy that's made of dead spiders and human body parts to celebrate her victory of taking over the nursing home. And then, of course, there's more guardians that pop out and scare you on the right and left. Then you enter a small hallway where there's two more guardians that, again, pop out and scare you. Then the final room is where you meet the Spider Queen herself, and more guardians come out and scare you, and then that is the end of the maze. Oh man. Your thoughts, Mom?
I loved tricking you to this maze, James. I was scared left and right because people were popping out on me. And James was trying to get me to get that needle for payback.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I said, no, thank you. But the whole maze was good, well done. The scare actors were really good in this maze, and overall, I really liked it. Mm-hmm. What about you, James?
I really did enjoy it too.
Even though you don't like spiders.
Even though I don't like spiders. I'm going to say what really got me interested in this maze is like, oh, you're going to an old folks home, but then, oh yeah, you're also going to have spiders. They got me in the hook with the old folks home, but I wasn't expecting the fucking spiders. Mm-hmm. Motherfucker. Okay. So, your score for this?
I did a 5 out of 5.
Oh. Okay. I want to give it a low score, but it was really good. It was the first year that it did it. And they really did trick me, and I don't like spiders, and those guardians got me so good. So, 5 out of 5. I wish I can give it a more lower score, but it was so good. Like, oh man. Okay. So now, really quick, guys, to wrap up this video, we're going to talk about the scare zones because you had to go through those scare zones to get to a certain maze. So the first one we're going to talk about is the first one that we went through that was all around Camp Snoopy. So if you guys know, Camp Snoopy has had scare zones for a long time. The one that I remember doing in Camp Snoopy was called the Hollow, where it was the Headless Horseman and this army versus like witches. And then a couple of years that all of Camp Snoopy was that zombie one. I'm doing a blank right now.
I know which one you're talking about, but I don't remember that one.
Oh my god! I should know this. It was that zombie one.
Zombie Z?
No, it wasn't Zombie Z. God, I cannot remember.
Just say zombies all over.
It was zombies, but it's really going to bug me. So give me a moment, guys, because I got to look that up. Because it's really going to bug me now what it was. Special Ops Infected. That's what it was called.
Dang! I could have thought of that, James.
Special Ops Infected.
Where I had a hard time walking in one of the things.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was this year or the year prior, but they brought back an old scare zone called the Gauntlet. This is a remastered version of a fan favorite, classic characters return to invade Camp Snoopy, but in an updated twist. Yes, again, counted the king and queen of the realm, Marion Jester's brutal something witches, law patron. So basically, it's like a village thing. All hail the king of suffering, the wrath of the gauntlet. And so this was the first time that I was seeing the gauntlet. But when we went, Mom, I hardly got scared in that scare zone. Like, I realized that half the cast wasn't there.
No.
Like when we went through the scare zone only once because by the time we got to the mazes on the back lot, we went straight to the exit. So, honestly, yes, there was a couple of scares, but I noticed that when we went on a Wednesday, and that's the day that we went, was on a Wednesday.
Not that many people were in that scare zone.
Not that many people were in that scare zone.
I know. It's just like, what is this? You know?
Yeah. So
I'm just saying, like, okay, where are the actors and actresses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So your thoughts on this scare zone?
I didn't really like it because there wasn't enough scare actors in there, but they did scare me,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just saw like 4 or 5 actors in there.
No, there was more. But they were like
spread out.
They had a good amount in there, but it wasn't like as many as when we had the Hollow or
right.
Stuff like that.
Hollow had a lot more.
Yeah.
My score, I had to give it a 3 out of 5 because I really didn't get scared in there.
Yeah, so I will agree with you. 3 out of 5 for me because they did the best they could with that night.
I know.
And then I heard from people that went that same night that we went, they went back into that scare zone, and more people started showing up Because there's not really a lot of scare actors at the very beginning, but they show up more like after the opening. But you
Right.
know, I wish we knew that because we would went back, but we just went from maze to maze to maze and
Right.
scare zone.
Right.
All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is a one that's been there for a couple of years. Forsaken Lake. This Irby scare zone marks its sin to return to the park. Forsaken Lake. Once again, the lake unveils under the lake underneath Silver Bullet reveals the horrors and creatures it keeps secret until now. Forsaken Lake unleashes gothic creatures which have been wrapped by the dark and muddy waters as they warrant the common pain for unexpected visitors looking for visitors to drown, looking for victims to drag back into the watery grave. This has been here for like a couple of years. They really do a good, like they do like a mini show in there, which is the funeral parade section, which we did see.
Right, we did see that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Forsaken Lake is a really good one, and you can take some photos with some of the actors after the parade, after the little show they have there.
Right.
So your score.
I mean, I really like this one.
But I noticed when we went there, again, there was not really a lot of scare actors. There was some, but it wasn't like a full cast until that was at the beginning when we went through, and then we went back to Forsaken Lake, and there was a lot more people. So
I'm going to talk about like when we went back. There was a lot more people. I really enjoyed it. They were scaring me left and right. They were doing a good job, the best they could. So basically, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because they did scare me.
Yeah.
What about you, James?
All right, for me, I have to give it a 3 out of 5 because we just got the tail end of the show, and I thought we were timing it good to see the show and stuff, but we did not. So this year, I really want to see that funeral procession.
Right.
Yeah. And I think they do it 3 or 4 times a night, from what my understanding is.
Okay, got it.
Let's talk about our next scare zone, which is one of my 2 favorites. Carnival. Knott's Boardwalk is taken over by Carnival, where the freak show is the main event, and countless clowns are looking for your undying attention. And you have a fear of clowns.
I do.
And you always hate when we have to go through the scare zone.
I do. I do.
So I'm
getting used to clowns.
I'm afraid of spiders. She's afraid of clowns.
Definitely, I'm afraid of clowns. What happened when I was growing up in the house?
Would you like to tell the story?
No, this is when I was like 4 or 5, so a long time ago. But I'm not gonna mention it. Okay, we were playing Monster in the hallway. Laurie had the flashlight, and she looked like a clown coming up to me in that long hallway where I grew up. I ran right, opened the door, ran right into the living room, and I just like booked it out of the hallway.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, and that's the only time I played Monster down the hall. But But I'm getting used to the scare zone. I'm getting used to them scaring me. I really liked it last year because they were scaring me left and right.
And what I liked about the scare zone is, they have to change with the colors because they have a new ride there that's like bright blue and stuff. So they have to make like the red and stuff pop because they have to compete with
the ride.
The ride that's called Hang Time. That's like their newest roller coaster there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But I really like the scare zone. They scare me every year. And last year when we were sitting down, relaxing.
Yeah.
They were like right in front of us, like scaring the bejeebers out of me. I'm not going to say the other word.
Yeah. So if you don't know what Marsha's talking about, when we were doing our, I think it was after
the blog video.
No, after we got out of Star Cinema, we went to a bench and we were talking about our reaction to Star Cinema.
Right.
And a clown came right behind and said, "What are you doing?" And he interrupted our take, but I kept it in there because I thought it was funny.
Funny, yeah. So I really like the scare zone, and they scared me last year. So I got to give it a 5 out of 5.
I have to give it a 5 out of 5 because they always go for you, Mom. They never go for me.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, so the next scare zone we're going to talk about is the Goring 20s. This is the scare zone. So this one is located by the arcade and the feeder where they had that feeder. I don't know what it used to be known as the John Wayne feeder, but they changed the name, which I don't remember. That's where they had Seymour do the very first show. Elvira did shows in there for many years. Last year it was like a museum.
The Elvira experience.
Yes.
Elvira experience, I mean to say.
So, that scare zone, this scare zone's in that location. So, also they have a secret speakeasy where you can actually drink the devil's elixir. But you have to find a password from the roaming scare actors outside. Mm-hmm. Step back in the dark depression of the Goring era with this new scare zone. Well, the newest scare zone, I think it debuted 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years.
No, I think it debuted last year, maybe. Not sure. I don't.
No, it was 2 years. As I remember, when I went with you, that was the first year I saw it.
Okay.
So I think it's 2 years.
So technically, 2 years. Yeah. The Goring 20s will terrify you, the bravest and the most. So the gangsters run an illegal thing. So with dancers, and what's cool is they actually have a live band that plays music, and they do a little show where they pretend to force someone to drink the devil's elixir. They have a newsstand. So this scare zone is very, very cool.
And what I like about it, they do interact with you.
Mm-hmm. The first year that we went to that scare zone, I have it over there, but one of the gangsters gave me a fake $10 bill with blood on it. And I still have it to this day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and we did see the show. I did film a little bit of it, and they always have music playing there too. So,
yep.
So your thoughts?
I really like the scare zone. I love how they interact with you. They talk to you. They interact with you, and they do scare you.
Mm-hmm.
I really like this one. It's always my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I know soon it will go away and a new scare zone will go in there. I hope not, but you never know about knots.
Yeah, they're always taking out 2 mazes, putting 2 new ones, and they're sometimes taking scare zones out. So you never know.
Yeah. So I really like this one, and I love it every time we go there.
Mm-hmm.
And you want my score?
Yeah.
A 5 out of 5, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely like the scare zone too. It's the smallest scare zone there. It's not really big, but
no,
it patches the punch, and I give it a 5 out of 5. So now we're gonna get to my favorite scare zone. So the Gordon 20s is your favorite scare zone. This one I look forward to going every single year. The scare zone that started it all at Not Scary Farm. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghost Town Streets.
It's my favorite too, but
Ghost Town Streets is the original and still most terrifying scare zone that started it all. Burdened with half man, half human monsters prowling the streets and enduring and the fog. Beware of the immersive sliders that lurk through every fog corner of the land. So there's Ghost Town Streets, and then there's an area called Fog Alley, which people think that's a separate scare zone. No, it's the same thing. So you have Ghost Town Streets, you have Fog Alley, and this is like the biggest scare zone of the area. Mm-hmm. So yes, I love going through Fog Alley. I remember last year when we were going through Fog Alley, I ran into one of the scare actors because there was so much fog that he couldn't see and I couldn't see. Remember that?
I remember that. But you said sorry for bumping into you, so...
No, he apologized.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, still the favorite. Yeah. So, 5 out of 5 for you?
Oh yeah, it's always my favorite.
And 5 out of 5 for me. I don't think Ghost Town's ever going to go away.
It better not go away, because I'm looking forward to it every year when I go.
Yeah. So, that is going to wrap up the scare zones. So, that is our official review of Not Scary Farm 2024. And, so, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, we didn't do any shows and we skipped 4 of the mazes. And so, we've gone through Waxworks multiple times. So we got to see that multiple times. We knew that was going to get very busy. In Bloodline 1842, we went through it in 2022. And the reason why we didn't go through it this year in 2024, when we didn't go through it in 2024, they got rid of the laser guns, and that made the whole maze good. But they knew because it was the following year, they just wanted to get as many people through it for one last hurrah.
But, when I went through it, I did like the laser gun, but when they took it away, that downgraded the maze. Mm-hmm. Really big time.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. So that is everything. So I want to thank my co-host Marsha for joining me again for this video.
You are welcome.
If you want to follow her on her social media sites, you can follow her on X, that used to be known as Twitter, and you can also follow her on her Instagram, and I will put a link down below for that. If you want to follow me, your host, Mr. James, aka Jimmy Pancakes 20, you can follow me on Facebook, X, that used to be known as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok for now until we see what happens with TikTok. And I also, for people that only follow me on YouTube, you can see I post on the post tab on there, so you guys can see what I'm doing too. So, also later, probably by the time you see this video, I'll probably have posted what Horror Nights ticket we did, but I may be sharing that information once the tickets have been emailed to me, because we're still waiting for the tickets to show up. We did buy the tickets, and I'm going to wait until the tickets come, and then I'll share what ticket we are doing and what our plan is on social media for opening night of Halloween Horror Nights. So we did purchase our tickets. I'm just waiting for the email to come, because it sometimes could take up to 24 hours. So maybe by Sunday is when I'll be sharing what ticket we're doing. Because we bought the tickets right before we started filming this podcast. So
filming the video, yeah.
Video / podcast.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. So then to wrap up this, the Not Scary Farm 2025 full lineup video / podcast, that will be coming out on Monday, September 1st, finally. And then after that, there won't be videos for a couple of days. And then after that, the next video will be, the next 2 videos, I should say, will be the Horror Nights vlog video after Horror Nights. So that will come out probably on the 5th or possibly the 6th of September. So the day after Horror Nights or the day after that. And then also that same week will be our first impressions video of the mazes that we did on opening night. Mm-hmm. So that's everything that's coming out. So again, Monday, September 1st will be the Not Scary Farm full lineup video. Then after that will be the HHN vlog video. And then after that will be our first impressions video. So we'll see you guys for the next video that's coming out Monday, September 1st. The Not Scary Farm full lineup video / podcast. And again, I will be joined by my co-host Marsha for that video / podcast. I was your host, Mr. James, aka Jimmy Pancakes, and we will see you guys for the next video coming on Monday. Bye-bye.